I forgot how controversial it is to say Starfield is great and it isn't just the truth for everyone. I want to say to y'all who watched the first video, thanks for your support. I appreciate all of you. Even if you just commented Starfield sucks during the ad and didn't even watch the video, I appreciate you. Because I still got that money!
More money, more money, more money.
Wow, I didn't predict these comments. Wow. Okay. Oh my god. Wow. I'm on the receiving end of comments for a big video.
So that's what that feels like.
In the first video, I held back on the deep why to avoid spoiling the experience. If you have any curiosity about playing Starfield, any at all, and I mean any, do not watch the rest of this video. It will spoil what makes it fantastic. And if you play it after watching this video, you might not like the game as much. It surprising you is part of why it's so great. I want people to feel it for themselves in the long, slow, beautiful way the game delivers it. But if you're curious why someone would sink 1,600 hours into this game, here's a visual metaphor. Close your eyes and let me take you on a journey. Now, imagine you're climbing the world's tallest, most boring staircase in total darkness. The first 50 hours are pure slog. Same gray steps, same echoey footsteps, the same aching question in your legs. Why am I even doing this? You're convinced there's no top, just endless concrete and regret. Then you step through the Unity. The entire staircase suddenly recedes and flips into a long, smooth slide. You're gliding backwards at great speed, feet gliding over every dull step you once cursed. Each one lights up the darkness around you. Every step you thought was pointless was secretly training your eyes for this. The slog wasn't wasted. It was the only way to earn the breathtaking view from the other side. Everything in the game that didn't make sense or didn't click before suddenly did through retroactive retroflexion. In essence, Starfield's bitter beginning is the only way to earn the profound joy of seeing the entire game transform into something beautiful and meaningful once you step through Unity. Starfield's main quest isn't just a story that ends, it's a journey that deliberately forces you to confront what ending even means. By the time you reach the final moments, the game has spent dozens or hundreds of hours teaching you to explore, build, survive, and lose yourself in the infinite black. Then, in one breathtaking, perspective-shattering step, it asks you a single question. Do you want to keep everything you've become, or let it all go and start again, carrying only the core of who you are into something entirely new? That moment is the Unity. And what comes after changes how you see every single hour you played before it. In other words, New Game Plus is the ending of the main quest. You keep your level, your skills, and your research, but everything else resets. All the quest lines, choices you made, items you acquired, ships you built, companions you romanced, all of it is gone, and the universe resets back to the beginning of the game, but keeps the core you intact. They basically made a career mode out of multiple playthroughs. No game has ever done something like this before. It's genius. They solved the issue of, I want to keep playing Skyrim, but I'm out of things to do and I don't want to start all over again. I want to keep progressing and playing my build.
Must have been the wind.
And in Starfield, that's fixed. It goes on forever. They figured it out. Like, you know how multiplayer games by design have infinite replayability? Bethesda figured that out with a single player game. Infinite Circle. Those 1,600 hours I put into the game were only 2 playthroughs, each one going through the Unity around 10 times each. Throughout the game's story, you unlock the mysteries of the universe itself. You find the circle at the center of existence, the one, the being, the universal commonality in all living things. In other words, you find God, the unity. Find all the artifacts, you build the armillary, you grav jump to the center of your very being. You are reborn into the infinite multiverse, and the game starts anew. It never ends. Infinite circle at the center of creation. Circle, 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 circle. Because of the unity, you become Starborn. And as Starborn, you're able to remember past events and how they unfold, thus changing the events and how they happen the second time you play through the game, giving you unique dialogue options that appear if you completed the quest in your previous life.
What?
Good bluff.
This dialogue can alter quest trajectories, changing how segments play out or skipping segments entirely. You can basically just go up to quest NPCs and be like, come on, I know what you're gonna do. Don't do it. And they're like, how the fuck did he know?
What? How did you?
Or a character will die in the story, and then you enter the Unity and you're like, what? You're alive?
Dad? You're alive? What the hell?
But they don't remember anything because it's a different event.
And the best part is, because of you foreknowing the events, the main quest will play out differently if you choose to replay it.
Same with all the quests and quest lines in the game. It makes every single quest replayable. Or you can just skip the main quest altogether and be like, yo, I know where the artifacts are, and then Constellation gets to work on speedrunning to the Unity. Unity. This right here, this is fun.
Gameplay,
just grinding out to get to the Unity is heaps of fun. You gotta get a good weapon, a good ship to pass that one part, and overall you can't just beeline it to the end of the game again. You have to put time into your gear to actually make it to the Unity again.
And again, and again, and again, and again.
But what exactly is the Unity? Like, lore-wise? Well, that's sort of like asking what is existence itself. Here's my take. We created each other, humanity, ourselves, right here, right now, at the end of time, at the spherical core of existence, where time flows forward, backward, upward, sideways, slantways, all simultaneously. During Unity, mortals are given a vision they can barely comprehend. Every question they've ever asked, every mistake they've ever made, every person they've ever hurt, it all rushes back and finally settles. For one perfect moment, they understand everything. Everything. That single glimpse is why the Starborn are so desperate. They kill for the artifacts. They hunt across universes. All for another taste of that overwhelming clarity. Because once you felt it, nothing else compares. And so the infinite cycle continues. The Starborn still chase that eternal high, getting lost in that beautiful, endless loop. Circle.
Holy shit.
But there has to be more to it than that, right? I mean, what's a game that's infinitely replayable if the core design isn't good? That's one of the things people dog on Starfield for, right? Is its clunky design, right?
Hello? Yes?
Well, kinda. The game is designed really well technically. It just doesn't do a good job of teaching new players about its mechanics, which is an important part of game design. Baking in the tutorial into the game itself. Good games do that. Starfield doesn't do that. But does that therefore automatically make Starfield a bad game?
Is there just nothing good to offer here?
Because late game Starfield is amazing.
The game is balanced around end game. Being over level 70 is where the greatest meat of the content takes place.
This is a game, and it's intentionally made to be played for a long time. It's one of the things we've learned from our previous games, from the Skyrim, from Fallout, that people want to play them for a very long time. So Starfield, I would say, was the most intentional going into it. This is a game people are going to play for a long time. How do we build it such that it is allowing that in a way that feels natural. And if people have played the game, and if you finish the main quest, etc., you can see that.
It's like a really good MMO, but single player. People say the exact same thing about Final Fantasy XIV, that the first 100 hours are pure slog and they're slow, but then the hundreds of hours that come after are the best gaming content you'll ever experience. Starfield is the same way. People just haven't realized that because they haven't played it yet. You haven't played it yet.
When you're level 40 to 50, the game gets really fun. And when you do New Game Plus, there isn't that same awful early game feel because you keep your level. So you have access to high-level weapons, gear, and aid items immediately. The early game is also super frustrating and annoying until you have the right research and the right gun and spacesuit upgrades.
Quick interjection, Free Lanes launched and I just turned level 70 on my new character that I'm recording footage with. And the game has opened up fully. I cannot emphasize this enough. This game rewards patience. Late game Starfield is the best gaming content I have ever experienced. It does things no game has ever done before, and once people realize what it does, all games will do it too. It's difficult to put into words what Starfield achieves. The new update also introduces 2 new aspects to the game that create complexity, in the form of free exploration in star systems, and the ability to upgrade your gear and reroll the legendary effects. You can now turn the shittiest, most basic gray item into the best possible version it can be. It's like if Skyrim Enchanting and Fallout 4 Legendaries had a super powerful baby. I just gotta say how much the new mechanics make the game feel complete. Before, with the weapon tiers and legendary system, the game wasn't really all that complicated. There was no depth whatsoever, but now, it's incredibly deep. The Free Lanes exploration allows you to freely fly between planets and find points of interest along the way. So basically, this is the hub world exploration the game was lacking. Before, it felt unfinished, and with this update, it finally clicked into place. And it's only going to keep getting better. Anyway, back to the video.
And again, you keep your research throughout New Game Plus, so you never really get that bad early game feel again, except for the very beginning of your first playthrough. This is important to note because the early game is annoying until you get certain perks and research. You can't use certain gun mods until you get the right skills, then the right research. Surveying is tedious until you get the right perks, and then it's smooth sailing forever. All your New Game Plus playthroughs feel great as you continue to climb into hundreds of level ups. New Game Plus feels good to play immediately. It all depends on your current level. The core shape of Starfield's gameplay loop is super addicting. It's why I kept coming back even during those first 50 hours. If a game is fun, it's fun. There's no taking that away from it. Defeating enemies, looting them, gaining XP, unlocking skills, completing challenges, selling loot, buying upgraded items, doing it all over again, and I'm not describing a fun, solid RPG mechanic base. You go on epic battles with the Starborn. And this is just one aspect of the game. Combat and looting. I haven't even mentioned ships yet. I can't emphasize this enough. This right here is what's fun. If you want one answer, hold on. I need to let you know that I'm serious. I need to turn into a talking cartoon avatar for a second to show how serious I am and my emotional state live as I deliver these words. So give it up for Bob.
Hello. If you want one answer for this entire video of why Starfield is great, it's this. Its core gameplay loop is addicting as hell. And it's great!
Everyone who's been addicted to Starfield for the past 2.5 years are the same types of people who were addicted to Morrowind way back when. And for the same reasons. The game itself, the core mechanics of it, is fun. There's just something to it. Shooting and looting in Starfield feels amazing. Ignoring all the quest lines, going to the mission boards, hunting bounties and destroying ships, killing dozens of enemies with the new mag shear you just acquired. Seriously, don't listen to the haters saying the guns were designed by kindergartners. The guns feel amazing. How can you like this game? It's trash!
Because it's so much fun, Chan. Get it?
It's as simple as that. Fallout, no VATS. Scan instead. You continue to climb into hundreds of level ups, forming a unique build with the skills you select. It's not Skyrim. In Skyrim, you do all the quests, hit level 80, and then that's kind of it. There's not much else you can do outside of starting the game over again. With Starfield, you don't have to start a new character to keep playing the game.
English? Jewish?
There are 328 individual perk unlocks. You're meant to play this game for years. If you quit before reaching level 70, you don't get to complain about this game. I don't care that my first playthrough had 50 bad first hours, because I don't even remember it compared to the thousands of hours I put into that character next. Like, who the fuck cares that the literal first 1% of the playthrough was boring? I sometimes just sit at my outpost or in my ship for hours at a time doing nothing. That's what this game wants you to do. To stop running, just breathe, and exist. So yeah, the core gameplay loop of defeating enemies, looting items, making credits, spending them on ship designs, vehicles, resources, foods. You have different weapon types, which helps against different enemy types. You have ballistic weapons, which does physical damage. You have laser weapons, which do energy damage. And you have particle weapons, which do a mix of physical and energy damage. They end up being the most effective. Energy weapons have no recoil, which means they don't push you back in zero gravity environments, unlike ballistic weapons, which... But wait, we need to stop for a second. If I'm going in depth for why Starfield is great, shouldn't I also go in depth for why Starfield is not great? I did the negatives of Starfield in the previous video I made about the game, so why not here? Well, look at the video length. Yeah. It'd be twice as long. So I'm gonna make a third video after this one. I want the game to get a lot better. And the best way to have it improve through updates is by voicing opinions through videos like this and hoping it somehow makes it to the top. But I feel like there's so much I could go into with the negatives of Starfield that it could be its own video. So after this, I'm making a video called Making Starfield Perfect, Dear Bethesda. Just kidding, it's gonna be called Everything Wrong with Starfield. Fuck you, Bethesda! And that'll be the video where I really redesign Starfield into something new. Anyway, back to what makes Starfield great. We've gone over combat feeling good, the gameplay loop being addicting. Now let's talk about ships. A ship in Starfield can be anything. A sleek dagger, a lumbering fortress with turrets, whatever the fuck this is. I avoided ships and shipbuilding for a while on my first playthrough, but it's actually pretty easy to figure out. Ships don't just feel like vehicles in this game, they feel like an extension of your character, your imagination. You can do anything you want with them. And combat? Combat is engaging and fun, especially when you press spacebar to use thrusters. It's a skill you have to get, and it opens up space combat immensely, allowing you to turn on a dime and not have to wait for your low mobility cargo piece of shit. You can basically drift in space. So, when you finally engage with Starfield on all fronts, when its clunky menus become second nature, when you assign hotkeys to your much needed aid items and favorite weapons, when you get the right skills for your build, it makes you feel like a real astronaut, a space person, in a cockpit, sitting there on your keyboard. That's how flying the ship feels when you're on mouse and keyboard. The controls are weird and spread out. I'm reaching over to press O to repair my ship. How awkward is that? But it feels like I'm in a cockpit, and I have to take a break from combat to make repairs. Subtle things like that add up to a greater whole, which makes Starfield feel like the ultimate space simulator.
One of my first jobs was scanning everything on lifeless moons. Boring? Peaceful is more like it.
If you get the right perks, surveying is a lot of fun. Well, to me anyway. I don't know, I like it. I surveyed like half the stars in this game while listening to audiobooks. Some people don't find it fun, but I do. I will say, it gets a little samey as you're just scanning everything you see. Wait, is this a positive? Do I actually like this? Is this slop? Yes. Do I enjoy it? Yes. Am I a pig?
Oink. You know what, I'm actually just gonna delete this part of the video.
Cozy game. Once you realize that, it clicks. You just vibe in the game. That's the point. And it's awesome. While outpost management could be a lot more in-depth, like if it was on Fallout 4's level, then we'd be able to make cities, which would be insane. But the decoration, the tiny little details you can create, and the objects in this game are incredible. The small decks of cards, the board games, the xenobug creatures encased in glass, the tribal masks, a bone horn that belongs in Skyrim.
Spaghetti carbonara?
There's so much cool shit in this game you can put on your ship and in your house. I love collecting misc items in this game. I take it all for granted now, but at the beginning of my first playthrough, I just stare at the decor and food items in this game. Easy sleep? We know what this really is, come on.
I'm Bran Daltrey. And I'm Toby Daltrey. And we're the Daltrey Brothers. And this is Go Flip Yourself.
They turn the most mundane property from shabby to chic.
Ooh.
Most epic misc items. Plushy Cuddlosaur. VHS tape and CD player. Antique Earth computer. Succulent. 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 Succulent, succulent, succulent. I call this the buy fighter, get it? Here's a tour of the inside. That's it. Oh shit, my bee. The persuasion minigame is really cool, and it actually feels like you're having a quick, snappy, natural conversation.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Creations, or let's be real and call them what they are, paid mods. Well, most of them are free. Should I be including mods as a positive for a video game? Well, usually the answer would be no. However, Starfield is a special case. Mods have never been easier to install on any game ever, and they exist on all platforms. If you're playing through Starfield and you're like, oh man, this one specific thing is bothering me, and it feels like the game just needs to be tweaked just a little bit, there's a mod for that. This is the first ever intentionally modular game, where not only do the developers allow mods, not only do they embrace mods, but they bake mods into the game's core design. The average player, tech savvy or not, is able to mod the game. It's that easy. I think that Skyrim and Fallout 4's paid mods left a sour taste in people's mouths because, let's be real, none of the content in those games were ever good, well balanced, or well integrated. And when I saw creation credits for Starfield in Steam, I said fuck no. I know these mods are ass too, but in Starfield? No. Paid creations are actually incredibly good. Having bought many of them, the content is actually excellent. It's DLC quality. Hell, I consider every paid mod in the Creations tab to be DLC. They're that good. It's not like the previous games where the content is subpar and you're buying it purely to support creators. Or just, pirating them like I know you did. I actually want to buy Creations. They're amazing. I'm talking full-on quests and quest lines, weapons and armor that feel consistent and are placed naturally in the game, and content that is genuinely integrated well into the game's leveled lists. It isn't like Skyrim or Fallout 4 where the quests just begin, or you just get the item from God. You have to earn it. It doesn't feel like a mod page, it feels like a DLC page. You want to know how I know Creations are DLC? Because Shattered Space and Terran Armada are both Creations. It's official level quality.
because here's how it works. Anyone can upload a creation, but a paid creation has to be checked and then edited by Bethesda themselves, and they said extremely high bar. For these reasons, and their ease of installation, you don't even have to close the game. I consider creations a fundamental aspect of Starfield itself. The game was built with them in mind, and the community has built Starfield into something completely unrecognizable. Seriously, take an hour and browse every single mod on the Creations tab, and you will be shocked at how much better you make the game. It took me about an hour to fix 80% of the game's problems. But there's a precedent here that I don't like. For example, the mod or creation which adds holsters to pistols so you can see them on your hip, like how it is for every other weapon in the game, costs $1. Why? It means that this can never be fully integrated into the game, which it should, or just standing on lily pads. That's a creation. Does it mean it'll never make it into the base game? They found a way to monetize modding. Modding is my favorite thing in the world. I hate the precedent that Bethesda is setting by selling mods. They're nickel and diming us for completing the game. I'm okay. This is a positive video. Glazing only. Glazing only. I'll save the real digging for part 3. You haters of Starfield are actually going to enjoy the next video, because I tear that game apart.
For a reason. It might be fair.
Coco Punch!
Don't fucking do it. Dumbass.
Go! Ah! I have so much energy! I want to run around!
Quick interjection again. Holy shit, guys, I'm level 257 on my new character. I went and got myself addicted again. This is why this video took so long. And guys, Starfield is the best game I've ever played. I'm not exaggerating. It's Bethesda, bro. Remember Skyrim?
Dragonborn.
Remember Fallout? They did it again. I promise. Stick by its side. This game will love you back. So I touched on this briefly in the first video. The real magic is the cycle that it creates. You dive deep into one system, shipbuilding, outpost management, exploration, combat, faction quests, whatever, eventually get your fill, move on to another, and by the time you circle back to the first one a couple weeks later, it feels exciting again. You're never truly done with any part of the game because it keeps refreshing itself through your own shifting focus. It's an infinite loop. Just look at the logo. It's literally a beautiful, endless circle. To expand on this, once you've had enough of questing for a few hours, you can go on and do anything you want. Let's say upgrade your stats and skills. It's fun to do that. The grind in this game is fun, it's satisfying, it's cozy. Once you start all that, maybe it's time to sell the loot from your grind and build a new ship from scratch. Afterwards, about 6.5 hours of real life time has flown by and you're ready to start questing again. Or go to bed. I often find myself just getting bored of quests and wanting to kill something. So I just accept mission boards for bounties and do that for a while. Playing without music really let me soak in the finer details, like watching this sanitation mini-bot.
he's mopping the floor with us. I see a game that is nearing, but not quite reached, the polished stage of development. Fucked up that they released it mid-development, yes. And you have every right to be mad at Bethesda for doing that. This game needed 15 years of dev time to be good with the scope that they had, not the 7 that it got. So, is it an issue of scale, or the technology not being there at the time? Well, it's both. The game was too ambitious and the technology wasn't there. The problem is, this kind of procedural world-building technology doesn't exist in a polished form yet. Someone has to make ambitious games like No Man's Sky and Starfield first, even if the non-handcrafted stuff isn't great, so the tech can improve over time. The first couple outings are going to be bad, but I believe this game can be updated into something perfect. A wise man once said, "A delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad." I'm here to say, that's not true, because games are not static anymore. They can be changed. They aren't stuck in their current state forever. Cyberpunk is 5 years old, No Man's Sky is 10 years old, Starfield is only 2 years old. So let's just see how this goes.
Well, maybe we'll just turn the camera on and let him go.
I know I probably won't reach you with this, but let me ask you one question. If someone watched season 1 of The Office and didn't like it, is it fair for them to judge the entire series based on that? Knowing that The Office gets way better and more unique after its first season. Starfield finds its footing in the late game but stumbles early on. It's long-form gaming content. It's the first ever gaming series, man. I'm stupid. Was the game too ambitious? Yes. However, I actually like that ambition, and hope they succeed in deepening it with updates over the next decade. I like the giant scope Starfield went for. It means they don't have to focus on adding star systems and planets. They can just flesh out the ones that are already there. Like, how about adding unique story quests on random planets and moons that change location depending on your playthrough? And you can only play these quests at random points of interest. That way you're encouraged to, I don't know, explore. Then slap some random encounters in between the points of interest and boom, you've got a Bethesda game. Starfield is a great game without a hook. It doesn't have a Fallout 4 E3 Deathclaw moment. Its beginning is slow and so boring. In 2010, when Bethesda was still working on Skyrim, the game didn't, quote, click into place until the very last year of development. And before then, Bethesda was worried about the quality of the game. It wasn't until right before the game came out that Skyrim clicked into being fun.
And then you kind of have a final 6 months to a year on a game, which is, okay, we've built everything now. And usually it needs a lot of glue, where we have a lot of very different elements that maybe aren't clicking together the way you want, outside of the regular polish for levels and features. And we're shaving and gluing and sticking things together so that it's not this schizophrenic game experience that things flow from one into another. And once you get that flow down, and the rate at which the game is giving you activities, then you're in like what we describe as a game flow. It's not till really that last year. Before that, the game flow is just, it doesn't even exist.
I believe that Starfield is in a similar position. It needs another year of polish to really fix the early game, since, like I said in the first video, they wrote the ending first. Look, I'm not saying this game doesn't have problems. I just think that its strengths far outweigh its weaknesses. The IGN criticisms of the game, I felt them for the first 50 hours, but then I stopped caring about them. They mean nothing to me anymore. So, on to the final monologue.
Oh, come on! You gotta admit this is cool!
After going through the Unity more times than I can count, I finally realized something. The Starfield isn't really about being the best pilot, or being the strongest starborn, or even about winning the game. It's about what happens when you finally stop running towards the next big thing and just decide to stay. It's about sitting on a cliff with someone who barely laughs, and still knowing exactly what to say to make them smile. It's about building a ridiculous brick of a ship because you can. It's about the moment the early game slog finally clicks, and you realize how every gray step you cursed was secretly teaching you how to see the cathedral, that you were building towards something, going somewhere. It's the ultimate cozy game once you find your footing in the universe and figure out the game's mechanics. The Unity doesn't just reset the universe. It asks you the hardest question a game has ever asked. Are you willing to let go of everything you've built just so you can experience what it means to build it again from a new perspective? Half the people say no. They stay in their first universe, living out a comfortable life with their companions. And honestly, that's beautiful too. But some of us, we keep going. We keep chasing the next Unity. We chase meaning in the blackest sea. And maybe that makes us a little crazy. Maybe that makes us starborn. Maybe the real treasure isn't reaching the Unity. It's learning how to stop rushing towards it and finally choosing to be present in the universe you're already in. That's why I love this game. That's why I'll probably keep playing it until the heat death of the universe. Because even if I lose everything, when I step through the Unity again, I still get to fall in love with the stars as many times as I want. But what would I change about Starfield? Now that we've gone over everything great about it, it's time we dive deep into everything wrong with it. Subscribe or don't, I have too many. And stay tuned for part 3, because it's a lot to cover. The third video is going to be the longest one.
I not only go over everything wrong with Starfield, but I give detailed suggestions on how to fix the problems or enhance the game. Thank you for watching. Sweet tranquility from chunks. I drink that. Already bitten sandwiches. I eat that. Microfloater terrarium. I take that.